2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hello, my name is Charlie Pfeiffer, and this is the persuasive speech for Barton County Community College Public Speaking. The last speech that I gave you guys was an informative speech, and in that speech it was not my job at all to persuade you one way or another. However, today that is not the case, and I look forward to trying to make you guys understand my point of view and where I'm trying to go with my topic today. To start off, I want you to think about the candidates for this next presidential election for next year. Then I want you to think about your political figures that are in your local areas and what they stand for and what they do and what they represent. When you think about those candidates and those politicians, you think probably Democrat or Republican. And those are two very important things about politics. However, I'm going to talk about capitalism and socialism and what those stand for and what they represent. Before I go any further, we need to explore a background of both of these subjects. So first we're going to start off with socialism. Socialism, by definition, according to the Diffin Comparison website, is a theory or a system of social organization that is based on the holding of property that is distributed equally among the people. Socialism is based on the idea of equal sharing and equal opportunity throughout all the community. Socialism has an emphasis on the profit from any type of business or place of work, and its profit being distributed equally among everyone in order to make it an even playing field for all society. Socialism has a very distinct system of making the playing field and any type of benefits that are given out by people or the government as equal as possible. And the driving force that is regulating this equality and all these laws is the government, of course. It is the government's job to make sure that all these laws and regulations and the equality is distributed in the most equal and fair way. According to the World Socialist Movement, all individuals should have access to basic articles of consumption and public goods to allow for self-actualization. Large-scale industries must benefit society as a whole. In other words, there would be no such thing as one man owning a company or a factory and receiving all of that profit. And when I say profit, in a socialistic society, there really isn't such a thing as profit. And no matter how much money the factory makes or how much money a certain business makes, it is headed towards a certain direction, no matter what. So that would be the equality, and that would be distributing it and that profit, so to speak, equally among all the people. The next thing that you might want to know is how socialism would affect your everyday life. Socialism affects us on a daily basis in two different ways. There's two different kinds of property when it comes to socialism. Personal property, such as houses, clothing, certain small material things such as that, and then there's public property, which would be like factories and land and something that belongs to all the people. Socialism in theory leaves religion and marriage up to individuals. I feel like this is important to throw in because of the recent controversy that we have felt with these subjects in the last several years. When it comes to decisions overall, there aren't too many decisions that are made by the individual. They would all be made by the government. I know some good examples of socialism would be the USSR during the late part of the 1990s, and you would obviously be able to read more about that, and it has been analyzed very thoroughly. As I talk about socialism, hopefully you realized some of the similarities and differences between what true socialism is, and you kind of related that back to kind of what you're seeing in the politicians of today, like I was talking about earlier, and kind of what our government is leaning towards too, and some of the actions and decisions that we are making. The next one would be capitalism. Capitalism, as defined by the Capitalism Archives, a capitalism website, is a system of social organization that is based around a free market and in which ownership is ascribed to the individual person. As we break this down, it is important to go over a couple of points. The free market is one of the biggest points of capitalism, which means that a business or an industry, you have the opportunity to succeed or fail solely based on your abilities as a business or as a person. In theory, there would be no regulations as to what to make, what to sell, or how to sell it, or how to make it. It is a free market. The next point is the individual person in a capitalistic society. In capitalism, there is no ceiling as to how much property or capital that anyone can own or obtain. It is totally up to the individual and their abilities, as I said earlier, as to what what they own and what they can obtain. There are, of course, laws that regulate how you obtain certain things and how you would buy and sell certain things, but in the ideal world, after you have paid your taxes, which is, of course, one of the regulations, your money that you make would solely be up to you, and what you do with it is your business. The focus of capitalism is more on the betterness and the better overall being of an individual rather than society as a whole. As we know, individuals make many different decisions than what an overall society would make. Capitalism takes on what we call a laissez-faire attitude, in the sense that government just needs to let everything be. They just need to let everyone